everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all you wonderful folks, wherever you're joining me from. Thank you for meeting me today, as I'm extremely thrilled to spend the next 45 minutes with you to talk about you are moldable, but how to not leave all the molding to others to thrive. I'm Sneha Singla, an engineering director at Salesforce. Now, as we start, here's a little background about me. I have around 17 years of professional experience, and I'm a first generation immigrant to the US. I'm a big music fan, and I love to sing and dance. And I'm also passionate about tech diversity and the impact that it results in. A quick random fact about me is I can read and write in 3 different languages, English, Hindi, and Punjabi. And I participated in a reality musical show back in 2004 on Indian National TV, which feels like ages now. Now, I would love to make this as interactive as possible. So we will do a few polls and I'll just share briefly the instructions on how to join them. And I'd love to hear from you and navigate this talk based on that. We'll have questions at the end. But if anything that pops up in your mind, please feel free to leave your questions in the chat window here and we can get to them. Sounds good? So let's get this started. Here are the poll instructions. So you can join via either of these modes. You can join by web, or you can also join by text from your phone. All you have to do is you just need to go to pollev.com and you can enter S12 because that's my username, and you will see the activity that you're voting for. And you just have to join this poll session once, and the activity will auto refresh based on where we are in the session. So sounds good? Okay, let's move ahead. So as we start, my first question to you is, do you feel molded by others in your personal and professional lives? Do you feel helpless at times, not able to make things work, since either you're not able to influence others, or you feel that they're resistant to your ideas? Or do you think that others are causing you stress and worry? You know it, but they don't. And it's causing you sleepless nights at times. You want to change it, but don't know how. I'd love to see your answers in a quick poll here. You just have to poll yes or no. So let's take a few seconds to hear from you. Okay, so we are getting a few yeses. Okay, so that's a strong yes. The good news here is that I am here to help you get unstuck. How? Today, I'm going to make a big claim. What if I told you others are not doing that to you? You are doing that to yourself. You are creating that stress and worry and no one else. Now you would say, that's really weird. Why in my rights mindset would I be creating that obstruction, that mold, those problems around me? Why would I do that? Well, it is happening to you because you are creating that box or creating those problems for yourself unknowingly. And before you think I'm judging you, let me tell you, I had the exact same problem as well. What we think is others mold us and victimize us. What truly happens is we create the mold and blame others for it. And you know what is worse? We spread it around us like a virus unknowingly, and it results in a culture of negativity. I'm going to tell you that it's the primary cause of conflict and problems in our professional and personal lives. Let's go dive deeper into how and why we do that. This is my story 5 years back. I joined this new team and I was told that the team was having issues meeting deliverables on time. Now enters a stakeholder who had a huge say on the product, and he comes and tells me, Sneha, I know exactly why the team is having issues. I know I can pinpoint why the team is struggling and I can help you with that. I said, sure, why not? Let's hear it. He says, this X person is great at his job. Give all the important work to him. This Y person, I don't like him. He struggles. You need to do something about him. I thought, I'm not going to listen to those preconceived notions. I'm not going to listen to that feedback. I'm a new manager and I'm here to prove that I can fix it all. I can help the team shine because that's how I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to form my own image about all the problems that the team is facing. But I know what you're thinking. You're right. The mold was already set. My focus became dealing just with people problems versus focusing the team towards successful deliverables. Within my team, I was judging my team members who were struggling about not working hard enough. And despite my best intentions, I just was not able to make them work any harder or according to my definition. With leadership, my focus was constantly defending my team. I used to have sleepless nights preparing for crucial conversations for the next day. I felt we were all working hard enough. Why aren't things working the way I'm looking forward to? Why do I feel fearful when I have the best intentions for the team and the product? Why do I feel conflicted with the stakeholders? In short, I felt like I was stuck in a box. Has anything happened with you? I did not realize the big trap I was falling into. That's when it struck me. I need to do something about it. I researched and found this amazing book called Leadership and Self-Deception by the Arbinger Institute that transformed me. It helped me understand how I was thinking it all wrong. How a little shift enabled me to get myself out of the mold and break free. Today, I'm looking to give you a 40-minute synopsis of what I learned from it, how I applied it to myself, and broke this imaginary box that made me feel stuck. And I really hope you could do the same as well. Honestly, I really wish somebody would have told me 5 years back how to get out of my box at that time. And I want to ensure you have all the tools you need to break free from your box starting today. Are you with me so far? Let's look at this cute little baby. Now, this baby, trust me, was very happy a few minutes back. But as babies typically do, he also wanted to get out of the stroller into his mommy's lap. And as you can see, the more he tried, the more he kept getting stuck. He tried to turn around, he tried everything, he just felt stuck. He started crying out loud, banging the stroller, and blaming him for making him feel stuck. Now, what is the problem here? Is it the stroller or the baby? Well, the big problem here is that the baby doesn't even know he has a problem. And he's getting himself stuck in the stroller. No one else. He himself is making him stuck. And in the process, he's crying, blaming the stroller, but nothing is working. That's exactly what happens with us too. Consider this stroller as the box. The baby is now in the box, all stuck, not able to move, blaming the box and doesn't know he caused it to himself. So we just learned that we ourselves get stuck in the box. No one else makes us feel stuck. So we actually redefined how we get stuck. So let's reword it. You are moldable, but how to leave the mold to thrive. It is very, very important for us to remove the blame aspect of it, out of it. And I'll explain you more why. Our agenda for today is going to be, what is the box that you're getting stuck in? How do we enter the box? What does not work in the box? And how do we get out and stay out of the box for good? This reminds me of a beautiful but extremely busy Monday morning scene at my home. As you can see, the sink was full of dirty dishes that needed to be washed. I got up to quickly do the dishes and then bake breakfast and lunch so I could focus on work for the rest of the day and not worry about meals and the never ending kitchen work. And I know a lot of you would agree with me. Well, as I was about to go down to the kitchen area, I heard clanking of utensils. It was my husband doing the dishes. I paused, stayed in my room, appreciating that he wanted to help me out with the dishes. A few minutes later, the sound of clanking of utensils stopped. I started wondering what's going on. Why did the utensil clanking stop? I heard he went straight to his room and closed the door. My appreciation quickly turned into anger. I started fuming with anger and blaming him for not finishing the work on time. He didn't care about food, cleanliness, anything or everything. I am the only one worrying in the house, doing everything in the house. I'm the only one working hard in the house. Needless to say, I didn't cook anything that day and went straight to my room and started working. I was hungry, I was overworked, and guess what? My husband didn't care about me or anything in the house. You can imagine the conversations we must have had that day and how well they would have gone. Now, I'd like to ask you guys, all this time, did my husband say anything to me? No. Did I say anything to him? No. Who caused all that anger and frustration to me? Think about that for a second. I myself did that to me. He didn't say a word. Needless to say, I was stuck in the box for a long time. I started off with appreciation that turned into rage and anger for multiple days, where I felt that my husband was mistreating me without the exchange of a single word. Now, that's important to know. Without the exchange of a single word, I felt mistreated. Now, let's see in a poll here. Now, all polls are anonymous. So let's see in this poll here, I'd love to hear what is the first word that comes to your mind when you feel stuck? I felt angry. I felt victimized, mistreated. What is it that comes to your mind? Let's hear from you. Let's take a few seconds here. So again, you can respond to this poll by going to pollev.com/S12. Yes, helpless, frustrated, agreed. I felt the same. I take personally, yes, absolutely. Anxious, yes. Not able to move, yes. Indecisive, yes. Any other words? Frustrated, yes. So more people are saying frustrated. That's, yes. That's a big one, right? So we feel extremely frustrated, victimized, non-productive. I did not cook anything that day because I thought, why do I need to do everything? Right? We feel that. We feel angry, we feel defiant, we feel resistant. And we also feel fair. We feel we are the only ones who are fair. We feel we are honest to ourselves. We feel others are not, right? We feel like that? Yes, because we all feel like that. So it's a common problem. Let's see if there are more responses. Okay. So the big take here is we all feel frustrated. So let's move on. Now let's understand what is the box. I used the word being stuck in the box many a times. Let's understand what it is. What is it? The box, yes, you got it. The box that I'm talking about here is nothing but self-deception. We deceive ourselves without knowing it. We blur our vision of reality. Social psychologists say that people deceive themselves in an unconscious effort to either boost self-esteem or feel better. We deceive ourselves all the time without truly realizing it. Let's take, for example, I'm going to drink just one glass of wine today when I know that I will have at least 3. It's okay if I miss the gym. Anyways, it's not helping me much, and the trainers are not good. As I mentioned, I did not know I had a problem, so I just could not solve it. I could fix it only when I was aware. And self-deception is a core problem in human nature. We convince ourselves that when we are actually doing something wrong, it is indeed right. We also know how some diseases work silently, right? And we also know that silent diseases are the most scariest for our health and most dangerous. It is better to tackle them in their early phases before they completely control our body. Being stuck in the box works in a very similar manner. It is like a germ that kills our productivity and happiness in our personal and professional lives. It feels like being stuck in that tiny 6x6 box where our visibility is diminished. We feel as if others are doing it to us, but it is we doing it to ourselves. And it is better to tackle it early as well before we spread it around us like a virus. Now, this is a super tricky state to be in, as your subconscious mind will do everything to stay there. The problem is you cannot see the real problem and you don't want to see it. Now, I'd like you to question yourselves. Are you even aware of the box? I was not a few years back. Are you? Now we know what is the box. It is self-deception. How do we know when we are inside the box versus when we are outside the box? To understand what is our place, where should our place be? Let's look at that. Inside the box, others are objects, a threat, a vehicle of threat. We are blind that people have needs, challenges, hopes, objectives, just like we do. My husband also had work that day. He was also busy. He was also trying to finish his course on time. But was I able to see that? No. I saw him as a huge threat who was ruining my moment of appreciation. Why didn't he finish the work on time? He felt like an obstacle to my happiness. Our needs and wants are much more important than theirs. My way or highway. It has to be my way. If it is not, then it's wrong. Then it's not correct. We constantly resist, and whatever we do is ineffective because no matter what we do on the outside, people always respond to how we are feeling about them on the inside. Even if I lower my tone, turn polite, it shall be ineffective. People sense that. That time, whenever I was talking to my husband, it just couldn't transmit because I was feeling about him like a threat. I could not connect with my team members as people because I was constantly thinking they are not working hard enough according to my definition. So whatever words I say on the outside, it's not going to help. Think of an alcoholic who tells you, I am not an alcoholic. I drink just to manage my work stress. I'm not a jerk. You are the one who always has a problem. Now you know that they are clearly inside a box. They cannot see reality. You can see it clearly, but they cannot. That's how being inside the box does to us. That's what self-deception does to us. Now let's look at how do we feel or how do we view others or us when we are outside the box. Outside the box, we view others as people with dreams and hopes. When I had placed my team members into specific boxes, I was blinded by their dreams and hopes and objectives and ideas. But as I stepped out of the box, I understood their thoughts, their reasons, their ideas. My distorted vision is cleared. Their needs and wants are as legitimate as ours. We can clearly think and see about other people's needs and wants. And we know they're as legitimate as ours. People sense our intentions and respond positively. We are humans. We connect best with each other as humans. So let's touch this once again. When I'm inside the box, I'm looking just at myself. My focus is inwards. The stories that are cooking in my mind, they are obstructing my view. They are blocking my view to think and see clearly. But when I'm outside the box, imagine that box is released. That box, I am picking that box up and putting it elsewhere. I can see things clearly now. Now, the big question, how do we enter the box in the first place? We all have that initial sense or feeling about how we should respond to a person. When we betray that feeling, we enter the box. Self-betrayal is acting contrary to what I feel I should do for another person. With my team, I had the choice to form my own opinion of the problems. But guess what? I betrayed it and I blamed the stakeholder for it. I dishonored my choice. That's what I wanted to do in the first place. I dishonored it. And instead of focusing or rallying the teams towards success, my focus was judging everyone. I betrayed my feeling. With my husband, I was appreciative of him. That was my initial feeling. I betrayed that. I started blaming him for my misery. He did not finish the work on time. He is the one responsible for my anger, for making me upset without the exchange of a word. And how I looked at myself as a victim, hardworking, important, fair, sensitive, good worker, good manager. And how I looked at others, lazy, inconsiderate, unappreciative, insensitive, fakers, lousy. Now imagine what it results in. Huge lack of commitment, huge lack of engagement, troublemaking, conflict, lack of motivation, stress. That's what causes us sleepless nights. When we're thinking about work the whole night, preparing for it for the next day. That's a grave problem to be in, right? So it's important to dive deeper into this. So let's do that. Let's go dive deeper into the steps that we undergo in getting into the box. When we receive our initial feeling, we betray ourselves. Again, I was appreciative of my husband. I betrayed that feeling. That is self-betrayal. I'm dishonest with myself. When I betray myself, I begin to see the world in a way that justifies my self-betrayal. I thought of my husband as lazy and inconsiderate, and I went back multiple times as to how many times has he done that to justify myself. He always does this. He never does his things on time. Was he really lazy and inconsiderate? No. I was justifying myself by thinking of all the times he has done that to justify myself. When I see the world in a way that justifies myself, my view of reality becomes distorted. I can no longer think clearly. Stuck in the box. When we are stuck in the box, we choose to justify or defend ourselves, even though we are miserable. Even though when we are stuck, when we feel helpless, not sure what to do next, but we choose to stay in the box. So when I betray myself, I enter the box. That's how I enter the box. Over time, certain boxes become a characteristic of me, and I carry them everywhere with me. We become so habitual of these habits that when we fail to recognize the truth of our feelings, it hurts us more. And we don't even realize that. By being in the box, I provoke others to be in the box with me. Due to self-deception, this false feeling of anger, deception, frustration spreads around us, exacerbating the problem. We tell everybody about it. We carry it with us. We'll tell 10 people about it. In the box, we invite mutual mistreatment and obtain mutual justification. Now, the stakeholder was probably in the box, but he encouraged me to enter my box against my team members. At that point of time, I had the choice to either follow it or dishonor it. I honored it unknowingly, and that made me feel stuck. Imagine if I had dishonored it, I would have connected with my team as people, focused on our mutual goals. That's what I do now. And believe me, conversations are so much easier, meaningful, and effective. When we don't accept responsibility about our bad choices, we hurt ourselves and everybody around us. Now, I would ask you to put your unique situations into perspective and ask yourselves, do you self-betray or self-justify yourselves at times? And there's no judgment here. Let's hear in the chat window here about how do you feel? Anything that comes to your mind, I would love to hear from you. Let's give a few seconds for folks to respond. If there are any thoughts. Even a yes or no would do. Do you feel you betray or self-justify yourselves at times? Yeah, so Stephen said yes. Yeah, I'm with you. I feel that as well. Okay, let's move on. So let's see, how do we become ineffective in the box? We talked about at length that we feel helpless. We feel we're not able to do anything. We're not able to influence others. So let's see how and why do we become ineffective? When we are in the box, we cannot focus and work towards mutual goals. Nothing is effective. We feel hopeless. We are blaming others and seeing them as threats and obstacles. So we keep trying to change them because they are not goods according to our definition. But let's see if we are able to actually do anything in the box. Trying to change others. Do you think we can change others when we are in the box? We cannot. And even if others should change or improve according to our definition, it does not give us a reason to be in the box because it shall make them enter their own box against us. And they won't even tell us about that they feel that we are a threat to them. That morning, if you would ask me, I was fuming with anger. I would say because my husband didn't do the dishes, because he is always at fault. I'm constantly trying to change him, but do you think he will change? No. How about coping or tolerating others? Do you think we can tolerate others, or we can just plainly forget about any of those issues? No. Trying to tolerate others still means we are still blaming them on the inside. They would know. We still carry our self-justified views about them. So they'll still resist us. And it won't work in the long run. How about leaving from the situation? Do you think that's going to work? Walking away from one situation to another simply means we are taking our box with us to a new place and telling 10 people about it. That's going to make matters worse. The stakeholder told me bad things about my team members, and that's how it replicates. How about communicating more or applying new polished skills or techniques? Do you think that's going to work? People are just going to accept me or not think I'm resisting them. Do you think that's going to work? No, that's not going to work either, because as long as you are in the box, communicating more and more often does not help either. No matter how skilled you are or how much of polished communication techniques you use, your inner attitude shall be sensed. People will sense that. How about changing behavior? Do you think if you turn polite or super nice to people, that's going to work? No, that doesn't work either. Because again, when I'm stuck in the box, I'm sensing people as a threat. They would know. So that's not going to work either. So that's a problem. We are hugely ineffective in the box. Now let's see, how do we recognize whether you're in the box before we even discuss how to step out of the box? There has to be a way where we can clearly see how we are in the box. We know when we are in the box, what happens. How do we see people? But let's see if we can self-recognize whether we are in the box without even asking others. The good news is we very well can know if we are indeed self-deceived. Here are some of the signs to look out for whether you are self-deceived or you are in the box. The first sign is justification. I had to do that because if she didn't do this, then I wouldn't have done that either. Honestly, we do not need a reason when we do the right thing. We only need a reason when we have done something wrong. I do work hard in the house, but I do not need a reason to remind me of that until I needed a reason to not do the dirty dishes when my husband didn't do them. I was constantly reminding him, you are the one who doesn't do anything. I'm the one who's the hard worker in the house. Another sign, trying to change others. Thinking only if others would change, your problems would vanish. In our life, we are constantly trying to change everybody around us, our kids, our spouses, our friends, our co-workers. If only they would change, everything would resolve by itself. Do you think we will be able to do that? Another sign, blaming others, seeing the other person as the problem. Now, I do agree that others also make mistakes and cause problems in our lives, but they are responsible for their own actions. That is not self-deception. Self-deception is using that other person's actions or problems as justification for yourself. I knew my team member is not going to finish his task on time, and that's why I clearly know my team is suffering. It's all because of him. Another sign, feeling helpless or stuck, badly stuck. Now, there is always has to be a way out. You just have to try it out. If you feel completely helpless or angry, that is a clear sign. That means you haven't tried hard enough because of some preconceived notions. Another sign, feeling like a victim or self-victimizing yourself. Thinking like you have been mistreated by others. Again, it is clearly possible that others are not at the best behavior with you. But that should not stop you from putting on your thinking cap to solve the problems that you are facing. I cannot solve this problem because my boss does not like me and is always angry at me. So I just cannot fix it. It's all because of him. That's a sign. Another sign, compiling a list of evidence against others and using it to justify your behaviors. I knew it. My husband is not going to finish his task too, since he never does anything. He doesn't pick up the trash cans even. He doesn't drop the kids to classes. Compiling a list of evidence in your mind. Another pattern. Another sign, seeing a pattern of issues. Why do I always see huge work politics wherever I go? No one wants to believe me or trust in my ideas. Why do everybody is like that? Why is everybody like that with me? Maybe it is time for you to rethink or reconsider a pattern there for yourself to work on. Let's hear from you now in a quick poll here. If you go through any of these signs and feel self-deceived, do you think you feel you justify yourselves, or you try to change others, or you blame others, or you feel helpless or stuck, or do you self-victimize, or do you compile evidence against others, or do you see a pattern in yourself? Let's hear if you go through, if you are able to pinpoint any of these signs in yourself in any of the situations you're facing. Let's hear from you. Yes, trying to change others completely. Again, you can go to pollev.com/S12 and you can respond with the words of your choice. Or you can also text S12 to 22333 and then text your message. Okay, anyone else? Okay. Looks like that is it. Yes, we absolutely try to change others a lot, right? So now the golden moment is here that we've been waiting for. We've talked at length, how do we get inside the box? What does not work in the box? What are the signs to identify whether you are in the box or you are self-deceived? So now let's understand, how do we get outside the box? It's a very simple step-by-step process. 7 steps. The first step is we went through the signs, right? That is mainly for you to help yourself and understand whether you are in the box or not. Use those signs to analyze if you have self-justifying views about others. Analyze if you're blaming others, whether you're cooking stories about others that has distorted your view of reality. That helps you understand whether you are in the box or not. If you feel helpless, apologize and move on. Being helpless is a strong cue that you are self-deceived. So just analyzing whether you are in the box is 50% of the battle won there itself. Because again, we cannot solve this problem because we do things that we do unknowingly. And just recognizing that you are in the box is 50% of the battle won. Next step, Form a social network and work with that someone you trust to see if you have stories cooking in your mind due to self-deception. If those are stories, find the mutual goal that you both have and keep that on the forefront. Next, quit resisting your instincts. Follow those feelings that you're looking to deceive. Be conscious about them and make a conscious step to follow them. Because trust me, news, good news or bad news is much easier to deliver in your teams when you have a clearer outlook and when there is no finger pointing involved. With my husband, when I have a similar situation like that Monday morning, I now discuss it openly, focusing on the mutual goal. And trust me, it is much better received. We are able to share load, and it has helped so much on my personal front and professional front. Focus on improvements, not perfection. My way or highway does not work. There are various paths towards a goal. Give everybody their own chance, their own path to rise, fail, and shine. See others as people, not objects. They're just like me who want to succeed and have best intentions. Do not focus on others' boxes. If you do, you're still blaming them on the inside and it just won't work. Don't look at others that they are in their own box. If you focus on them, you will never be able to get out of your own box. Be aware only about your own. You can just change yourself. You cannot change others. So we learned that self-betrayal leads to self-justification. Our view of reality becomes distorted, and learning that is battle half won. And beyond that is quit resisting your instincts. When you are in the box, people follow you, if at all, through force or coercion, through force or threat of force. But that is not leadership, that's coercion. The leaders that people choose to follow are the leaders who are out of the box. You can apply it in your leadership and team building. Share awareness about in the box and out of the box behaviors in your teams to improve teamwork, interactions, and results. But apply them to yourself first. You can also apply these in conflict resolution. Apply the lessons learned to resolve conflicts objectively in an unbiased manner. Treating people as people versus objects greatly clarifies intent. Now, I'd love to hear from you. How would you rate today's session? Again, you can follow the same instructions and you can vote. Okay, people are voting. Now, this talk is greatly inspired by the book Leadership and Self-Deception, Getting Out of the Box by the Arbinger Institute. And here's my email and LinkedIn. I would love to hear from you, about any feedback, anything that could be improved. And I wish you have a great rest of your day. I would love to hear from you and look forward to any questions in the chat window here. Also, stay safe and don't forget to wear your masks. Thank you.